Well, good afternoon, everybody. Here we are in our animal encounter area at the Creation Museum. And as per usual, I need to wait just a little bit till everyone gets online and gets the notifications. We have a special fascinating animal for you today. And we're just getting our animal ready here. And this is Boomer. So we'll tell you more about Boomer in a moment. I'm going to see if I'm coming in here, and I'm still waiting. Here we go. I hope we're now getting here. So we're in our animal encounter area at the zoo. Just waiting for everyone to get online. So you can be looking at Boomer here while we get online. While we're just waiting for everyone to get their notifications. And kids, get your questions ready. And I realize my problem is that I need to turn my Wi-Fi off because it's picking up the Wi-Fi from over in our offices, and that's not strong enough for out here where we are. So we're in the museum grounds, and we're at the animal encounter area. We have quite a number of animals here. We have a zoo down at the Ark. Here we have a special animal encounter area, and we're going to be actually having more and more of the sort of animals used for animal encounters. Okay, we've got a lot of people online here. Hello from Texas, hello from Washington State, from California, Ohio. We've got a number of people on here. Numbers coming on live are going up. And we're going to meet Boomer today.
Yes.
And this is Boomer. Boomer is Boomer's a kangaroo, but not a kangaroo.
Right.
Leanne, you're the senior zoo manager here. What do I mean by Boomer's a kangaroo, but not a kangaroo?
So Boomer is a kangaroo in the sense that he is part of the kangaroo kind, or the macropod kind, but Boomer is actually a wallaby.
So we have a wallaby. Oh, a wallaby is a sort of species within the kangaroo kind.
Right.
How many species of wallabies are there?
So there are over 30 species of wallabies in the kangaroo kind.
Somebody wants to know what's Boomer's favorite color. We're going to find that out, hopefully, right?
So Boomer, typically when I do training with Boomer, if I'm using a target, I usually use a red target with Boomer. So I think red is probably one of his favorite colors. But today we've got some purple paint that he was painting with just a little bit ago. Okay,
so we're going to see if Boomer wants to paint here in a moment.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're going to try now, see if we get Boomer to paint.
Boomer is still in the early stages of learning how to paint. The idea here is that he'll grab onto the paintbrush with his front paws and kind of steady it so he can lick the peanut butter off. And then we'll have him basically touch the paper with the paintbrush. Today he seems much more interested in the container that has the paint in it. So maybe we won't get a masterpiece from Boomer today. No, maybe not today, but he's working on it. That's one of the things we're working to train him to do. Okay, I have a competition for all the boys and girls watching this. So, Leanne, if you can show them this little container over here. We're not going to look inside. No, we're not going to look inside.
We have an Australian animal in there.
So we have...
See if you can guess what it might be. I tell you what, there's a hint on the top.
Yes.
If you look very carefully, there's a bit of a hint on the top, and I want you to be guessing what you think it might be, and we'll announce it towards the end when we'll open it up and see what Aussie animal that we have in here. Okay, so we get a lot of questions coming in, and for any questions we don't get to answer, we'll go on afterwards and answer those for you. But how fast can he run? Evan, age 12, says.
Okay, so these guys, they actually hop. They don't run. So these guys can comfortably hop 15 miles an hour, up to 30 miles an hour for short distances. He scared himself there.
So we have someone watching from South Africa. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
What does Boomer eat? Elsa, age 10.
So Boomer is an herbivore, so that means that he's going to eat plant material. So he gets a daily kibble that's specially designed for kangaroos and wallabies. He also has free choice of hay. His exhibit is grass, so he will nibble on that grass. And he also gets browse as well, so I will go and grab him some of his nice browse. I got some bamboo from the gardens today for Boomer.
Okay, so we're going to feed him some of his favorite food here. So this is bamboo.
This is bamboo.
Okay, and we grow bamboo here.
So I went out in the gardens and grabbed a piece that was
Now,
snapped
Leanne,
off in the
I was
storm
just
last night.
looking. I was just looking under him. So where's the pouch? Kangaroos have pouches.
Yes, kangaroos do, but only the females have pouches.
Oh, only the female. Oh, you mean this is a male?
This is a male.
That would explain why this one doesn't have a pouch.
Yes. So yes, only the females have pouches. The males do not have pouches. A lot of people think both the males and the females have pouches, but it's just the females because the pouch is designed for carrying their babies around.
So Ezra, age 6, asked that question, so you've answered that now. How long would his tail be? Callie, age 11.
So Boomer's tail is about 2 feet long.
And why is his name Boomer, asked Ben. Actually, I think, didn't I give you that name?
Yes, you did.
Because in Australia, now, I don't know whether I should say this, because I don't believe in Santa Claus, right?
Right.
Because there is no Santa. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. But anyway, so I'm in trouble with all the mums and dads and their kids now.
You're
But in
trouble
Australia,
now.
there's a famous song that's sung at Christmas about Santa Claus and his sleigh, and it's being, instead of reindeer pulling the sleigh, it's kangaroos,
Right.
and they're white kangaroos, and it's 6 white boomers.
Yes.
So that's where the name Boomer comes from.
Yes. So
Okay.
when we got Boomer, I took him into Ken's office and said, "What do you want to name this little guy?"
And I
That's
said,
what Boomer got
Boomer,
his name.
6 white boomers. He's not white, but,
No, he's
you
not.
know. How old is Boomer?
Boomer is 2.5. His birthday is October 11th of 2017.
So Chloe, 8, wants to know if he can jump.
Yes, he can jump. These guys, Bennett's wallabies, can jump anywhere from 4 to 6 feet up in the air. Boomer here doesn't generally jump that high. They only do that if they're trying to get away from an
Okay,
animal.
somebody
that's
asked
chasing
that question about how high can they jump, and do wallabies get along with kangaroos? Yeah, I've
Yes.
seen them live together
Yeah,
in Australia
they
in the
live
wild.
together. There is a difference. So kangaroos tend to have a little bit more of a mob or type of social structure. Wallabies are more solitary. So wallabies tend to be found more in brushy areas. So they get separated from, they can't really live together in big groups, but they will congregate around good food sources into very loose mob structures.
So Calla, age 7, wants to know how long they live.
So out in the wild, these guys will live about 9 years. But in a zoo setting under human care, these guys can live 12 to 15 years easily.
Okay, so there's Ethan and Eli and others who want to know how big he's going to get.
So Boomer here is pretty much full grown. He weighs about 30 pounds right now. He might get a little bit bigger, but he's just about full sized.
Okay, so we have a 9-year-old from Zeeland, Michigan. JW, it says. Is it a bearded dragon in the cooler? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Right?
We'll
we
have
have a
to see.
surprise Australian animal in there. We'll see
Yep.
if you're right or not. So, Kelly asks, she's 11, what is his defense?
So his defense is really to hop away from something as fast as he can.
In other words, run.
Run, yes.
Except they don't run.
They don't
hop.
run, they hop. So in Australia, these guys, their main predator is, of course, going to be the dingoes. And then when the joeys are young, hawks and things like that as well. And, of course, if they get too close to water, crocodiles. But their main defense is going to be to hop away very quickly.
So we have someone here from Oklahoma, someone from Canada. Guess what? We can cross the border with internet.
Yes, we can.
Yes. And I saw something interesting today. Someone saying, you know, God doesn't obey the quarantine the quarantine restrictions because he's everywhere.
Right, yeah.
So we've got to remember that. God is everywhere. He's in control.
He's in control.
And, you know, if you go and read Habakkuk, how do you pronounce that? Anyway, he was asking God, you know, what's going on here? And God said, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. But you've got to trust in God because God's in control. He's doing things that we don't even know about. So, while we have this problem, we help kids have fun
Yes.
at our animal encounter without being here.
Yes.
So, Clara, age 4, and so there were some others too, asked, where do we get Boomer?
So Boomer came to us from another zoological facility in Illinois, actually.
But originally, Boomer's parents would have
Boomer's-
been in Australia, probably.
Boomer's maybe great-grandparents were in Australia.
And then their great-great-great-grandparents were in the Middle East when they helped off
Right,
Noah's Ark.
exactly.
Think about that.
Yeah.
There's a question. Did kangaroos once live in the Middle East? And the answer is yes,
Yes.
because all animal kinds got off the Ark,
Yes.
land animal kinds. Can he swim? Rustin, 10.
So wallabies and kangaroos can swim. They've been observed to swim across rivers and things like that. Boomer has never had the opportunity to swim. He probably would not swim voluntarily.
So how much do they eat in a day? Is he going to eat all that today?
It'll probably take him a day or two to strip all the leaves off of this. So he gets about a quart of his diet every day, and then he also gets a fresh salad every day. He really loves spinach. So kids out there that are listening, be like a wallaby and eat your spinach.
Oh, okay. Be like a wallaby and eat your spinach.
He loves his spinach.
Right.
He gets some spinach, carrots, and sweet potatoes.
Faith, age 10, asked, well, Faith had a question here somewhere, and I've lost it now. I don't know what happened to Faith, age 10. Faith, I lost your question. I'm trying to look through here. So I'll see if I can find it again. There was someone, I think it was Faith, asked why he has big ears.
So wallabies, one of their best senses is their sense of hearing. And something really fascinating about them is if you watch his ears in the video, you can see they can actually move their ears independently of one another, and they can rotate their ears 180 degrees in any direction. So that, of course, helps them to look out for those dingoes that might be stalking them, wanting to eat them.
So Ezra, age 6, wants to know how good is his sense of smell?
They have a pretty good sense of smell. Fun thing about wallabies and kangaroos, one of their favorite scents is lemon. So sometimes for enrichment, what I'll do is I'll just hang lemon slices around his exhibit, and he will go and lick them and rub them all over his face.
That's fascinating. There was somebody here wanted to know if somebody wants to know why he's not painting. And we're going to try that again in a minute.
We'll try again.
We'll try it again, see if we can get him to paint.
He's slightly distracted right now.
He's a little bit distracted today. Somebody here asked, how long do they sleep? If it's anything like me lately, not much, actually.
So
it's too stressful to sleep right now.
It really is. So wallabies are crepuscular, so that means they're active early in the morning and then late into the evening and early night. These guys will sleep during the heat of the day. So when it gets really hot during the day, they'll find a nice bush to lay under and sleep. So they'll probably sleep, I would say, 12 plus hours a day.
Somebody asked a good question here. Was a kangaroo and another animal breeded to make a wallaby? And that's where we could help them understand. The kangaroo kind would have been 2 kangaroos on Noah's Ark, and because of all the information God put in their genes, when they came off the ark, as they increased in numbers and moved away from each other, and presumably, they got to Australia pretty early on, probably while there was a land bridge during the Ice Age, and as they started to move away from each other, different combinations tend to survive better in certain little groups here and there, and you end up with your different species.
Yes.
But that's not evolution, because they're still kangaroos.
Yep, they're all kangaroos.
And then we ended up with wallaby species as a result of that. So what is his favorite thing to do, said Joshua 9? I think it's eat right now.
Yes, definitely eat. He is a very friendly little guy. He was hand-raised. I actually hand-raised this guy. So he is very friendly. So he loves interacting with his zookeepers when they're in here cleaning and doing things in the exhibit. He loves interacting with us.
Somebody asked how many wallabies we have here. That's Kala, age 7. We've only got 1 wallaby here right now.
Right now.
We're going to get some more eventually.
Yes.
But we've got a number of kangaroos down at the Ark.
We have 8 kangaroos down at the Ark.
So, hey, Boomer from North Carolina. Is he nocturnal? No, he's out here. Actually, at dusk in Australia, we would see them come out just like deer. You've got to be careful because they can run across the roads and so on.
Yeah, these guys are a lot like deer. They're active early in the morning and then late into the evening and early night when it's cooler.
When it's cooler.
This time of year, they're active.
Somebody asked, is it a baby crocodile in the box? Well, we're going to see here in a moment. We're going to open that up here in a moment. And so Juliet 10 says, what is he eating? Well, this is bamboo. He's eating the leaves off bamboo. We grow the bamboo right here at the Creation Museum. So, Leanne, can you get him to stand up? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll try.
We'll try. See if we can get him to stand up.
Up. Up. Come on. You're almost there.
He's being a little...
He's being lazy today, guys.
He's being lazy today, isn't he?
He
Look
says
at
it's Friday.
It's Friday. He's ready for the weekend.
Come on, show off your tail.
And there's no people here to come and see him. And so he's...
Boomer does enjoy interacting with our guests, so
I
think he's missing all of his guest interaction.
So here's a good question. Why is his tail flat? Jose, 12 years old, from Puerto Rico.
Okay. Well, wallabies, if you can kind of see him sitting here, the wallaby's tail kind of acts like its fifth leg. So if I could get Boomer to stand up and show off, they will actually kind of use their tail as another leg when they're standing up to help support themselves. So these guys will use that when they're reaching up, looking for leaves or branches on trees to pull down to eat. And the males will also stand up on their, embrace themselves in their tails and kick each other, box with each other when they're fighting for mates.
So Lisa Mudge said is a surprise animal nocturnal. Another one, Micah, age 9, said, and Jada, age 11, we think a snake is in the box. Oh, we're going to find out here in a moment. Won't be long now and we'll find out.
Yeah.
Someone said we must have missed it, but how old is he and how big do they grow?
So Boomer here, he is about 2.5 years old. He weighs about 30 pounds right now, and he is pretty much full grown at this point. He may add another pound or two, but he's pretty much full grown. When he stands completely up, he's about 36 inches tall.
So Ava, age 8, asked, do they bite?
So that's a good question, Ava. Anything with a mouth is able to bite. Boomer here was hand raised. I hand raised him. So he is very friendly. He really enjoys interacting with people.
I think he wants to go.
Yeah, I think he
wants to go to sleep, wants to go to bed.
He's like,
I've had enough of this.
I've had enough of this.
Yes. You don't think he'll paint for us?
I don't know if he'll paint now. He's saying, I really want to go back in my barn.
So.
Why did you lock me out of my barn?
So can you call him? Will he come if you call?
Possibly.
Possibly? We've got to try this.
We'll try.
Otherwise, we'll go and show you our surprise animal.
Come here, Boomer.
Boomer wants to get back in. Look,
Boomer.
He's had enough. He said, I'm sick of all you people.
Come here.
I want to get into my barn.
Boomer, come here. Boomer.
I think he's sad today that all the Creation Museum guests are not here.
Yes, I think he's confused why he doesn't have a bunch of visitors here today. Because he is definitely one of our favorite animals out here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and there he goes. I'm gonna go ahead and
we'll open
let
up
him back in.
His home.
Give him access to his home.
Go in there.
If he wants to.
All right, and we'll go and see what the surprise animal is.
Okay.
And we'll get Leanne to tell us a little bit about the surprise animal. Okay, so it's from Australia. Someone said, is it a reptile? Well, there was a hint on the top of the box. Have a look at the hint on the top of the box. So somebody said, is it a snake?
Somebody asked if it was diurnal.
Nocturnal.
Or nocturnal or
And
diurnal.
somebody asked if it was a crocodile. Okay, Leanne, are we ready?
Here we go.
Okay. Here it comes. And it is, oh, look at that.
So this is Mushu. And Mushu is a bearded dragon. So I know somebody, I think pretty early on, had guessed it was a bearded dragon, so you are correct. Mushu is one of our program animals here at the Creation Museum. So we use him in a variety of our animal encounters and other workshops as well.
You know, the bearded dragons we used to have in our garden in Australia when we lived there was grey.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a different colour.
So yes, bearded dragons, especially here in the States, because they've become such popular pets, people breed for different color variations. So Mushu here is a bright yellow and orange when he's nice and warm. And then he'll be like a greenish gray when he's either cold or even when he's absorbing sunlight to warm up.
So Caleb asked, can bearded dragons jump? Not like kangaroos.
Not like kangaroos, but they can jump if they want to. These guys do climb. So out in the outback, they will climb up on trees to sun themselves, and they will sometimes jump off the trees if they see a hawk or something coming.
So Keller, age 7, would like to know how old he is.
So Mushu here is about 5 years old. He'll turn 5 years old this summer.
Somebody said, oh, that is my dream pet. I love them. And Joe, age 9, wants to know, are they real dragons? Well, we call them dragons, right? We can call them dragons.
Their kind is called the agamid kind, which is also known as the dragon lizard kind.
Oh, the dragon lizard kind. Or what's the technical name?
Agamid.
Agamid
Yes.
kind. And I wonder if, the colour there is a lack of the grey colour or what it is, or the pigment in their skin that...
Yes.
Different variations for it, but it just shows variation within a kind that God put there. Here's the interesting thing. The more they breed bearded dragons, you know what's surprising? I told the boys and girls. It's absolutely surprising. You breed bearded dragons, and you always get bearded dragons.
Right, exactly. And they get the name bearded dragon by their beard underneath their neck there. So these guys, if they feel threatened or they're defending their territory, that beard will go almost black, and then they can even puff it out, and they'll kind of do a head bob to kind of scare away predators or scare away rival bearded dragons.
So are they poisonous? Gianna Jalevin asks.
They are not poisonous. So there's a difference between poison and venom. Poison is something that you ingest, and venom is something that is injected. So most, if you hear of poisonous snake, that's probably not correct. It's actually venomous. So if it bites you and it has venom,
and it gets complicated because poison and venom can be used interchangeably.
Exactly.
Because venom is poisonous.
Exactly. Yes. But yes, he is not poisonous or venomous to people.
Did you say its name was Mushu?
Mushu.
So, okay. So Cadence, age 6, wants to know, how did Mushu get his name?
Well, there's a popular movie where there's a dragon named Mushu. So that's how he got his name.
Oh, okay. So there's no biblical character named Mushu?
No.
Because you name a lot of the animals with biblical characters, don't you?
Yes, we do.
So when is his birthday? Lucas 9 asks.
So his birthday is right around the beginning of July. I believe it's July 3rd.
So we could have a birthday party. Happy birthday, Mushu.
Yes.
Okay, in July. All right. So Tobin 10, what does he eat?
So bearded dragons are omnivores. I think you've probably heard that term before as we've been talking. So an omnivore is an animal that can eat plants as well as other animals. So Mushu here will eat insects. These guys can also eat small mice, but his main part of his diet, since he's an adult, is vegetation. So he gets a fresh salad every single day, which he doesn't usually eat. And then he gets crickets or mealworms or dubia roaches.
So if you want to have a bearded dragon breakfast, you can get your mum and dad to get for you roaches, mealworms, crickets,
and then some nice fresh greens. So
nice fresh greens.
Spinach? Not spinach. Actually, spinach is not good for most reptiles. It's got too much calcium in it for most reptiles. His favorite is arugula. So he likes the kind of spicier greens.
So Clara, age 9, wants to know, what is the hole in his head?
The hole in his head, those are his ears. So.
See, we have holes in our head for our ears, but we have, we have a covering over our ears, don't we?
Yes, we do. We don't have just big old holes in the side of our heads. So these guys have pretty good hearing, and they have excellent eyesight.
So somebody said we love Mushu. There was a young person before asked a question about when does it change color? What colors does it change to?
So Mushu doesn't. He'll change color if the sun is out and he's cold. He'll get really dark. He'll get kind of like a greenish gray here on his back, and that actually helps him absorb more sunlight. So it helps warm him up faster.
Hey, we got some very, very observant young people here, because Amber, age 11, said Boomer's out again.
Yes, Boomer's out again.
There's Boomer over there eating the bamboo.
He says, I'll come back
someone
out.
Said, it's like he's saying, hello, look at me. Yeah, maybe he's. We opened the door for him to go inside his little house there, and now, because the bearded dragon, everyone's looking at that, I think he's jealous.
Yeah, he is.
So
Boomer likes getting all of the attention.
Somebody said Mushu is cute. Is it Mushu that's cute or the kangaroo that's cute? I mean the wallaby.
I mean, I'm biased to the wallaby, but...
Oh, you're biased to the wallaby. Okay.
I raised him, so...
So how fast does Mushu run?
How fast does Mushu run? These guys can move pretty quickly. I would say they might be able to go 5 to 10 miles an hour. If you wanted to get away from me, he probably could.
See? A bearded dragon on your arm. Do you often carry the bearded dragon? You often carry Mushu on your arm like that?
When he's out for encounters, yes, we try to keep him on our arms like this, just so it's easier for kids to see him, and also for them to be able to pet him.
So Allison, age 7, said, are the points sharp? They look sharp to me.
Feel them, Ken.
Well, you know, they're sort of sharp, but the skin is so soft that they don't dig into you.
So the bearded dragon points, it's kind of one of those defense structures where they look really sharp and scary, but they just kind of have it there as mimicry, saying, hey, I'm sharp and pointy, don't eat me.
So God prepared them that way in
God
this
prepared
fallen
him for
world.
that. For the fallen world.
So how big does Mushu get? Eric, age 12? No, it's Evie. Evie, age 8, asked that one.
So Mushu is pretty much full grown. All reptiles will grow just slightly throughout their lifespan, but he is full grown. I would say he is probably between 12 and 15 inches.
Eric, age 7, said, isn't bamboo poisonous?
Now, bamboo is one of the safest browses that we use for our animals. So pretty much all of our animals can have bamboo. It's one of Boomer's favorites.
And so, okay, so someone asked, is Mushu in the same kind as a horned lizard?
I am not sure. I will have to check on that.
I would doubt it.
I don't think Mushu is in the same kind. Uromastyx are also in the same kind as the bearded dragon. But the horned lizard I would have to double check on.
So, okay, Cadence asked a question. I didn't even understand. How do people know these questions? And they come in so fast, I lose them sometimes here. So Caden wants to know where they are native to, and are anoles the same species?
So bearded dragons are native to Australia. These guys are pretty much found throughout Australia. Mushu here is a central bearded dragon, so there's even several different species of bearded dragon. So the central bearded dragon is found in central Australia.
So do they lose their tail? Gavin wants to know. They don't, do they?
They do not. So if his tail were to come off, it would not grow back.
And that would be the end of him. Well, maybe not.
No, it wouldn't be good for him. There are some reptiles that can lose their tails. Bearded dragons are not ones that can.
So maybe we could. Oh, is Boomer gone?
Yeah, he went back in.
Is there any way we could get a sneak in his little pen in there?
Absolutely.
Maybe we could have a sneak look at him in his pen in there, and then we'll show you something else here, and then we'll wind up for today. And if you like these programs, let us know, and we'll keep them coming.
Oh, he's in here.
So, oh, by the way, let me tell you all, 3 p.m. Saturday Eastern Standard Time and 3 p.m. Sunday Eastern Standard Time, I have 2 special programs for kids. I'm at a bakery. It's a bakery that actually provides food for certain foods for our Amzara's restaurant at the Ark, and I'm with 2 kids at a junior baking lesson, and we're going to show you how to make bread in a bag. And that's so you can do something at home while you've got nothing else to do right now with this virus situation. So, and then on Sunday at 3 p.m., we have another program, and I'm going to teach you how to make pizza dough in a bag. How is that about that? Ken Ham is going to be a baker, all right? 3 p.m. Tomorrow, Saturday, and 3 p.m. on Sunday. Tonight, I'm giving people a look at a secret area at the Creation Museum in our relevance exhibit. And then tomorrow night, Saturday night at 7 p.m. and Sunday night at 7 p.m., 2 special programs that we're going to stream for you, where I talk to Dr. Nathaniel Jensen. He has done genetic studies of populations around the world, and he's found fascinating things that confirm biblical history. And he'll talk about the British are actually French and the French are actually British. That should stir up strife in the world, and all sorts of other really interesting stuff. So let's see. Okay, this is Boomer's house.
This is Boomer's house.
We're inside Boomer's house.
So he's got quite the setup. He's got a heater in here. It's all nice and insulated. So
it's all insulated. He's got a heater.
Nice and cozy.
He's got is that his bed?
Yes. This is
He's
his
got
bed.
a bed.
He's got a bed.
Look at that.
So Boomer loves like the elevated dog beds. That's one of his favorite things. Oh, and now we're gonna go back out.
Oh, he's out again. All right. Well, let's go over here.
He needed a drink, I think.
Before we end off here, and let's see what we can show you. What we have here. I wanted to show you that this would really help you understand about kangaroos and wallabies, and that is, let me just show this to you. Oh, here we go. So we have a book called Understanding the Animal Kinds and how many animals were on the Ark. That's a great book. It's all illustrated, and that would help you understand the difference between kinds and species and how the animals got on the Ark. Also, Buddy Davis has a Sing and Learn Along, a Sing and Learn Along DVD called The Animal Kinds. And then in our answers books for kids, you know all those questions you ask about all sorts of things? These are the most asked questions kids ask us. We had real kids like yourselves who wrote in all these questions, and this is a whole set. It goes through all sorts of topics about dinosaurs and about Noah's flood and the ark and about creation and about Genesis. And right now, while the museum is closed to the public, 20% off our online store if you use promo code Matthew6. And then don't forget our Facebook Live programs we're doing 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m. each weekday. And then on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 2 special programs, 3 p.m. this weekend, for teach you how to make bread in a bag and pizza in a bag. That'll be a different sort of one for me. And I'm going to become a chef. I'm going to become a junior chef. And then Saturday night and Sunday night, while you're sitting at home, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, tune in, and Dr. Nathaniel Jensen and I are going to tell you some incredible results of our research, genetics research, that blow apart what secularists have been saying about the history of different people groups around the world. You know what you're going to find? You're more closely related to each other than you realize. And that's going to blow your mind. So, Leanne, looks like Mushu is hiding under your collar there. A little bit of wind.
I think he's getting a little chilly out here. He is cold-blooded, so he's trying to get up next to me to stay nice and warm.
So there's been a few people who said they're praying for the ministry, and yes, please pray for us, because it is very difficult right now. The Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter aren't allowed to be open to the public, and so we don't have income coming in. It's very difficult and stressful on our staff and all of us, and right across the nation, though, people are having this problem. And I feel for all Christian organizations and churches. I know they're all struggling right now, and we don't know what God's doing, but God knows what he's doing. You know, as one of my friends said, God is yet to make his first mistake. And see, God doesn't make mistakes.
Yep.
That's why he says that. God is yet to make his first mistake. He hasn't made any mistakes. He's in control. And you know what I was reminded of this morning? You know the account in the Bible when Peter was walking on the water, and then he looked at the wind and he looked at the waves and got fearful, took his eyes off Jesus, started to sink.
Yep.
We need to make sure we keep our eyes on the Lord Jesus. Boys and girls, during this time, keep your eyes on the Lord Jesus. He's in control. He knows what's going on, and nothing is going to happen that's going to surprise him. He's in charge of it all. We live in a fallen world. There's a spiritual battle raging around us. That's what we're reminded of. And viruses, certain of them can cause problems in a fallen world.
They can.
And we live in this world. And so we have the consequences of our sin. That's really what it is. So with that, Leanne and I are going to sign off here. Join us next week for Animal Encounters, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. If it happens that we're told to shelter at home, we'll still do Animal Encounters, because Leanne has to come in, and we're going to do it by computer, and I'll do it from computer at home, and you'll do it here. So we'll still do it, but we're hoping that doesn't happen in Kentucky. It has in California, and it has in New York, but, you know, shelter at home. We hope that doesn't happen here. So for the rest of you, I'll still do Facebook Live programs from home anyway. I'll sit there and talk about nothing. Maybe I'll do the dishes, and that could be a unique event, and I could show you how to wash dishes. We'll do all sorts of things. Okay, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, kids, and 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Learn how to make bread in a bag and pizza in a bag. Okay, thanks, Leanne.
You're welcome.